lose all sense of reality and enter another world. Remember, do not underestimate the power of PlayStation.
Beyond.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Beyond, episode 362. I'm one of your hosts, Greg Miller. Alongside, he only does everything, Colin Moriarty.
Only 38 more episodes.
Start sending your invites right now to Colin
400.
at ign.com. Over here, in the ever-rotating third chair, the one and only Italian meatball, Brian Altano.
Hi, Greg.
Hey.
I'm good. I'm sorry my Beyond was low energy.
Yeah, what was that all about?
I was just sort of doing like a casual Beyond, but I feel like immediately that didn't fit.
It wasn't that it was casual. It was just like you had better places to be.
I was like, yeah, Beyond.
Whatever.
Let me try it again. Beyond!
There you go. Wow, that's the power.
There we go.
Got the pipes going.
Yeah, that's right. The energy.
I haven't seen you guys in a while. How you been?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
I like your shirt.
Thank you. I like
If
your
you're
shirt.
watching the video, you can see it. If you're listening, you can't. So just picture anything you want on Greg's shirt.
I've worn the wiener dog and a pretzel before. You're wearing your misanthrope. You're wearing your Danganronpa.
Mm-hmm.
How's that guy going? The crazy bear.
Monokuma.
He puts you in the spaceship. He shoots you out, and
Yep.
then you come right back.
Yep, that's exactly what that whole game's about.
Yeah, that was it.
We saw a lot of that bear in Japan.
Yeah, he's
which
everywhere over there.
It's very interesting to see just the cultural differences of how big certain games are there versus here.
Yeah, everyone thinks. I think a lot of people in the office make fun of me for loving Danganronpa so much because it's so obscure. It's not obscure at all in Japan. I felt right at home there, with the exception of maybe like Dragon Quest and a few other games. There was more Danganronpa stuff than anything, and there are only 2 Danganronpa games. So nice. and their third one's coming out in Japan soon. So although it's a weird game, it's not like the other 2.
Oh really?
Not
the other two aren't weird at all.
Correction, the other 2 are very weird since they're murder mysteries about a teddy bear.
Yeah.
But no, the third one's like it's weird. People should look up. It's called Another Episode.
Here is the story, Colin Moriarty.
Okay.
I went to Chicago before I went to LA.
That's in Illinois.
Illinois, that's right. Good job. You get a star.
It's on the Great Lakes.
Exactly. Right off Lake Michigan. Went to Portillo's, had a meet and greet there. 250 fans showed up. Amazing turnout. Thank you all for coming. I was expecting to be like it was 4 years ago when I did a meet and greet at Portillo's, and Brian Albert came, and I met him for the first time, and he was I was the first one to find him. Sorry, Justin Davis. And when we were there, and it was like, I don't know, 20 or 40 kids. So I got to sit with them and talk with them. This was like, it was 3 hours of like a receiving line at a wedding where I just stood at one end of the room and they all lined up and then just came to me and would talk and take photos and sign stuff.
Were they feeding you hot dogs with your
my
free hand?
My mom was.
Oh, really?
My mom was coming by and like,
Big
what do you
Jamie
need?
was there?
Oh, Big Jamie Kennedy was there. Yeah, she was all up in that business. Helped me out, throwing me around. We took a picture with the Portillo staff. They got excited when they figured out that I was a celebrity. So I might get my this is one of my life goals. Get my photo and my autograph on the Portillo's wall. Big things are happening. But
don't you usually have to like win a food challenge to do that?
No. They have like Jim Belushi. It's anybody who's a Chicagoland celebrity that is.
Be careful because Jim Belushi's dead.
No, that's John Belushi.
Oh, okay. Who's Jim Belushi?
Jim Belushi's career's dead.
Who's Jim Belushi?
He's his brother, according to Jim. How do you not know this?
Oh, that's their brothers?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that was the thing.
Yeah.
No, it's fine. His
Hardcore
brother's
Bears
an
fan.
asshole.
He's great.
His brother died, right?
Yeah.
He was on Saturday Night Live?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, then Jim Belushi was eventually too.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The good Belushi died.
Oh.
Let's start again. Beyond.
Well,
All right.
Beyond. What's up, everyone? Podcast Beyond. No. So when I was there, a kid there begged me to play Danganronpa. And I was like, because he knows I've started it before. If you remember, I started it once, but I was on a
30
plane.
hours long. How far did you get into it?
You got to play in the receiving line?
No, he didn't beg me to do it in the receiving line. He's like, you have to play it at some point for me. And I was like, I will, not for Colin, but I'll do it for you.
Yeah.
And so, because I had started Danganronpa a long time ago, because it came so highly recommended. You and I like similar games sometimes. And I started it, but I was on a plane, and then I just got tired, and I went to bed. And so I did the exact same thing this time, where I started on my plane ride to LA. I was like, you know what? I'm kind of tired. And I just nodded off.
Yeah,
but I mean, I'm going to play it eventually when I play games.
It's a visual novel. You gotta pay attention to it.
I know that's the problem.
Here's the funny thing about your Portillo's thing. Altano and I were in a meeting last week, and your thing popped up where it was like, come meet, meet you or whatever. And Brian said the funniest thing ever. He was just like, can he just have dinner?
Everything's got to be an event. I'm like, you can't just go have a nice, quiet meal.
I feel I have to do it. I haven't done it in 4 years.
Yeah,
I haven't had a Portillo meet and greet in 4 years. I got to take care of my Chicagoland faithful.
That made me laugh so much.
No, Colin was like, this is why he's famous. I'm like, yeah.
3 crazy kids drove from Michigan.
Really?
Yeah.
Crazy kids.
These crazy kids.
Did someone take a boat on Lake Michigan from Ontario?
No, we did that.
Is that far? I have no concept of how far
Sure.
that is from the Portillo's you were at.
Right, yeah.
That's
We had to
far.
go through Indiana because you're Michigan, and you come down through Indiana, and you come into Illinois, you come up the other side. It's far. It's enough to
Trust
where...
me, it wasn't worth it.
Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah.
But no, you're right though, because like, right, some folks ask me when I go to Long Island, like, you doing anything you want, go have a beer somewhere, or whatever, hang out with people, and I appreciate that, but I'm just too lazy to do that when I'm home. I just want to eat pizza by myself. I want to just lay in my old bed that I slept in when I was in high school.
I'm the same exact way.
Those are your big things when you go home to see your family.
I go through my G.I. Joes.
At least you got your priorities right. Colin.
Yes.
We have 2 pieces of housekeeping.
Uh-huh.
Do you want the good news or the bad news first?
Bad news.
Bad news first comes from Nate B. Hello, Beyond. I wanted to first thank you for the time and podcast you put out. We don't put out time, but I understand what he means.
It takes time to make.
As a new listener on the podcast, I was listening to the current latest podcast, and the segment on Driveclub left a distaste in my mouth.
Oh, yeah, we got a few messages about this.
Yeah, we're going to get to that in a second.
Okay.
First and foremost, you guys are calling the game a sim, and it couldn't be more inaccurate. This game is by and far an arcade racer with some aspects of visual realism added. Much like Forza Horizon, the game is built ground up and an arcade-focused driving experience. It has no car upgrading, it has no mechanical tweaking of cars, such as adjusting the height or spring rates, etc. No real racetracks and no wheel support. That's what I'm gonna say. Nate wrote in here to correct us because we were talking about Driveclub. I infamously laughed Driveclub out of the episode last week, Brian, because somebody wrote in and they said, "Hey, Infamous, all the other PlayStation 4 games, they've been disappointments. Do you think Driveclub is gonna be the one that moves units?" And I couldn't get through the question without laughing. Now, then we went on.
Was Infamous a sales disappointment?
I don't think so, but
I thought that game sold great.
Yeah, but I think people are looking for the game that's like, going to be like GTA 3, right? That moves units and gets people that they have to go out and buy it. So first, we said that, which got a few people mad, and then Colin and I were talking about how we have no interest in Driveclub and it's the sim thing and we don't want that, and then people wrote in saying it's not a sim game. Now here. That's the tip of the iceberg. Now, I want you to know that we've been wrong on Podcast Beyond before.
We're wrong all the time.
God knows we can't be on top of it. When we are wrong, hundreds of thousands of emails and tweets come to us saying, like, guys, you screwed this up. You messed this up.
Like when I said Destiny was coming to PC.
Literally 5 emails about Driveclub. 2 or 3 tweets. That's a problem. There's your first red flag, going back to the question that Driveclub is not going to move units. People are not excited for it. Here's the next problem. I'm at home in Chicago. I'm watching some TV, as you do when you go home, and a commercial comes on for a car racing game. And this is after now I know that it's arcadey. It's not as blah blah. But we'll get to another problem with that. I'm watching the commercial. The cars are on the racetrack. All of a sudden, they bust off the racetrack and they're driving the street. I was like, oh, first in the racetrack, I'm like, oh, this is Driveclub. Somebody's actually promoting it. I just don't watch TV at home, so I don't know.
Right.
Then they bust off. I'm like, oh, it's the crew. They're promoting the crew because you can drive across the country. Then the logo came up and it's Forza Horizon. So
Take your pick.
They are. Come on, man! Like, you can't even separate the game into what it's gonna be. Like, there's this many games.
I mean, there are delays that build momentum, and there are delays that kill it. And I feel like this is a situation where if they did have something at some point, it's dissipated a lot. Now, it doesn't mean they can't bring it back, but I do think a lot of that momentum has sort of vanished for them.
I absolutely agree with you. I think. This is the problem with Driveclub, right? And I don't have any insight. I don't play the game. I don't play racing games. I don't care about them. But when we were in New York City in February when they released, which was a long time ago now, when they showed all the games off and they showed PS4 for the first time, Driveclub was one of the games. Right? It was a launch game. They showed Knack. They showed Infamous.
Yeah.
And they showed this game. They're like, this is a launch game. Then just randomly, like 2 months before PS4 was going to come out, they're like, and it wasn't even that. I think it actually leaked first that they were like, I don't think this game's coming out. And then like a month and a half maybe before PS4 launch, I could be off a little bit on that. They were saying like, no, the game's not going to be ready for launch.
It was very close to launch.
And then they never communicated what the hell was really wrong with why it took a year for the game to get fixed. And I think it's a messaging problem. Like, people are nervous about Driveclub now. They were probably really excited about it. The same people that were excited about Knack and all that kind of stuff. Or when Vita came out and they were excited about Little Deviants.
Yeah. Now here's the thing, even doubling down on what you're talking about right there. The fact that I have hosted at least 2 live show demos for Driveclub. We're the #1 PlayStation podcast, and we're sitting here and we didn't know it wasn't like super simmy because every trailer I see for it is incredibly boring of just driving and not look. And it's like when we got these, I went and watched like gameplay, the crappy off screen from Gamescom or whatever convention and it's like, okay, I see that they're rubbing and they're racing. It's not like Now it looks even like it's even caught in between being a sim and an arcade racer.
That's the thing. Remember how it was rolled out? That's why I always thought it was a sim from the word go. They were talking remember what did they say when the game was announced or when they revealed it? They were talking about how beautiful the leather was and how amazing everything looked and how realistic everything was. That doesn't exactly scream San Francisco Rush, does it?
No.
I mean, I don't so my assumption was always, and I think that this is also a thing about definitions of simulation versus arcade racer. And maybe it's just my own ignorance about driving games. When I think about an arcade racer, I think about MotorStorm.
Yeah.
And this game is not MotorStorm.
No.
You know?
I think Smuggler's Run or The Crew.
Exactly.
And that's the other thing, too.
So I don't know. Maybe I'm just wrong.
We are not racing fans. We admit that. You know that. You listen to the show. You watch the show. You understand what we're up against here. But, keep in mind that I'm not interested in most racing games. The Crew has me. Totally. I'm locked in. It looks awesome. RPGs with cars. Yep. That's when you can pitch your game. Elevator pitch, one sentence, RPG with cars, great. When Driveclub is, look at the leather and look at this, then you can be in teams with your friends and they're gonna...
And then we're gonna delay it for a year.
And then we're delayed. It's
and that was kind of my side note, but it was kind of my issue with Destiny is that no one until the game was out could really tell me in a tweet what that game was. And I think that that's a huge part of things now is you spend millions of dollars in 3 years or 5 years or whatever it is to make a game, but you don't get to that, no pun intended, finish line of just being here's what it is. If we still don't know, that's a problem. And I think it's a game you could have easily slipped out during launch. Drop a 6 out of 10 at launch. It's a driving sim or a racing adventure or a car PG, whatever it is. Put it out at launch. I'll buy it because I bought everything at launch and played everything at launch. And it won't stick with me long, but it'll be part of that sort of big kind of cloudy memory that was the PS4 that first month.
Yeah.
And I would have been able to look past its faults for some of the other cool things it was doing. But a year later, if it's going up against a new Forza game, which is an established franchise, if it's going up against The Crew, which is just there's great buzz around that game.
Yeah.
Whether or not it delivers, we'll see, but at least the buzz is something. It's about maintaining that message and keeping that momentum going and being able to actually tell us what what it is that we're playing. There's so many things right now that we are fighting for our entertainment, and to actually be able to say, this is the game I want to spend $60 on, 20 hours on. If you can't tell me what it is, I can't tell you what it is. Right. And that makes my job difficult, and it makes our audience angry. So
yeah, I think Driveclub. First of all, I feel bad for Evolution because they're a good studio, they make good games, and obviously they had trouble with Driveclub for some reason. It's really unclear. I think they had connectivity problems, and there was some stories that came out, but they never really verbalized fully the game screwed up and we need a lot more time. And somehow we only figured that out 2 months before the game came out.
Yeah.
Because remember, even at E3, they were Driveclub's gonna be free when it comes out at launch.
Yeah.
When PS4 launches, and then they were oh well, never mind. But it's a failure on many fronts that I think are out of Evolution's hands, and that's why I feel bad for them. The marketing people at Sony should have realized that they had a huge opening, with the exception of Need for Speed, to release a racing game that exclusives sell well on PS4 and as they did on Xbox One when the system came out. Knack sold like crazy, and no one likes Knack. You know what I mean? Knack, it's hard to find a person that really loves Knack.
I think Knack outsold Super Mario 3D World, which is just...
Yeah, it probably did, just based on because people buy the games. It's how we bought. I mean, I like Fantavision and Smuggler's Run, but we bought a lot of games on PS2. There's a ton of games on PS2.
That goes back to what he's saying, right?
Yeah,
in launch, you buy stuff, and you also chalk it up to being a launch game.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Well, this isn't as feature complete as I want, but it's a launch game.
But it's a launch game. It's okay. That's when you ship a 6, and it feels like an 8 because it's new.
But the failure, I think, goes deeper because we don't know how Driveclub's going to be. One of our guys in Australia, I think, is reviewing it that really knows racing games. I'm hoping for the best for Driveclub because I know some people are really excited about it.
Yeah.
But it's just why would you put the game out now? Did it really, I know you needed another year, but maybe it might have even been made sense to just sit on it for longer.
Yeah,
because now you're releasing it into this super hyper competitive environment where your console's been on the market for a year, and people want great games. Exclusives don't really, have that same pushing power.
The bar is set high.
Yeah, exactly.
Now,
so, I feel bad for Evolution. I don't know what the hell happened with this game. I'm sure the story's really interesting. I hope it's good. I hope people enjoy it. And I do apologize, obviously, as Greg does, if we mischaracterize the game as being arcadey versus simulation. But I don't know how. I in my mind, Arcade Racer does not look like that, and is not introduced like that, and is not talked about like it's been talked about now. But that just maybe shows and belies my own ignorance about racing.
And for sure, we're all the same page of that. Sorry if we misled you or you thought, we were trying to that we screwed up. We did, obviously, but the big thing about it is like the point to what we were talking about. If that's going to move units, it goes back to no, it is not going to. I don't think Driveclub is in trouble.
But that's a fantastic point, by the way, Greg, because I never realized. Like we got a slew of emails and tweets about it. Like I don't read the emails, but I just see them, and then people tweeted us.
Yeah.
But you're right. Like when I said Destiny was on PC, or when I said, which was wrong, or when I said, we say
avalanche of content,
just like
right?
literally sometimes 1,000 people.
Yeah,
yeah.
That's an actual slew. This is more of a slurry.
Yeah, a slurry, a flurry, a flurry. Yeah,
a flurry.
Yeah.
All right. So the good news,
a spritz, a freckle.
The good news, as we came in, Colin said we got this last week. It's a little letter. It says IGN Office, Greg Miller, Colin Moriarty, Beyond, and he drew, or she drew a Beyond logo. Do you know, where did this come from?
So this young gentleman's father was in the States on business. I think he's from the UK.
Oh, oi!
And he was at a Giants game or whatever, and I think the kid told him like, well, AT&T Park's right near IGN's office, which it is. We're only a block away.
Right.
And so
he came by and hand-delivered
this. He hand-delivered. It was a very nice man. We took a picture together.
What a nice old man.
And and here's his letter. Did you not read it before we?
No.
Oh, you're going in cold.
Is it
a
curse word?
It's a death threat. Go ahead and read it.
Dear Greg Colin in the ever-rotating third chair.
Hey.
I am writing this letter from Jersey, the UK, not the new one. See what you did there? I'm a big fan of the show and was wondering what your most anticipated games are in the run-up to Christmas. Yours truly, Louis Donahoe. Beyond. P.S. I miss Ryan and scratched out what he screwed up and wrote Goldfarb and then made a little cry emoticon. He started to write Andrew. He wrote Andrew, and then he wrote Andrew Goldfarb, and then he's like, you know what?
He's not just give him his last name. Yeah.
What are we looking forward to in the run to Christmas?
AAA games?
Far Cry 4.
Yeah, Far Cry 4. 100%.
That's pretty much the only AAA game I'm really excited about for the rest of the year.
Do you think it's going to make it?
Yes.
Because there's been concern in the IGN office with some of the Martys in the Justins that they think it might not make it.
If they don't, I'll be so depressed because that's my holiday game.
I think I said on GameScoop I'm predicting this game will get delayed.
Oh, sorry. Then it was you and one of the other guys.
But it sounds like it's going forward.
Surely they would have delayed it by now, right?
You think so? But look at Driveclub.
Yeah, exactly.
That's true. But this game's supposed to come out, November?
Yeah.
And it's October 1st now.
Yep.
Yeah. Too late.
Ubisoft's usually on top of stuff like that.
Yeah.
I hope, dude. I really hope not. I want that game so bad, and I want to just sit there and just be left alone for like a week.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want it to get delayed.
Every time you go to the bathroom, I'm gonna run in your room and turn on multiplayer and just leave it to open so people can just run in and join you.
No, I hear.
So the elephant stampede.
I mean, if the game's really in trouble, I do hope it gets delayed. But I just feel like they would have that all buttoned up by now.
Right.
Yeah. Maybe not. But they have a lot. They're buggling a lot of jaws is what I was going to say, but juggling a lot of balls is what I was
Buggling a lot of jaws.
Hashtag.
That's a great box quote.
Yeah.
Far Cry 4. Buggling a lot of jaws. IGN.
But they have all sorts of balls. They have all sorts of balls in the air with Assassin's Creed and stuff like that. Not that the same studios are working on them, but it would be at the same time. I wouldn't have put Far Cry 4 out this year to begin with because we already have our big game.
Yeah.
So like put it in next quarter or something like that.
Well, it's also, I mean, there's a little game hitting next gen this fall that is sort of making a couple of other games scurry, and it's Grand Theft Auto 5. So if you're making an open world game this fall, like, you're already a little worried because I think GTA 5 is going to hit. A lot of people are going to play it for the first time, and I think it's going to impact the Far Cry's and the Assassin's Creeds, and even I'm not really sure what else there is in that spectrum, but like that's a scary time. It's just the way all the first person shooters used to clear out of the way for Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Which I think they still do to an extent. I think you have to worry about that with open world games because people do get fatigued over those.
What's crazy is that someone is going to play GTA 5 for the first time, and who is that person? Because the game sold like 30-something million copies.
How many copies did The Last of Us sell? How many people played that?
Six on PS3.
6 million, right?
6 or 7. Yeah.
How many PS4s are out there?
10.
So I mean, there's math right there.
I know,
right?
but it's just I'm just saying. Look, it's so extraordinary to me that anyone that was interested in that game
the
didn't
stat
already play
we
it.
heard internally about how many people who own PS4 who hadn't played The Last of Us was shocking to me. That game probably sold very well on PS4, and GTA 5
it was the best selling game that month.
Yeah, it's going to sell. GTA 5 is going to sell very well on PS4.
I think it's going to sell well. It's just that difference of.
It won't do 30 million.
It made sense to me that you bought a PlayStation 4 and hadn't played Last of Us.
Yeah.
Maybe you were at the Xbox from launch or whatever. You were committed to that ecosystem. That's where you stuck around, right? And then you switch brands here. You go to PlayStation. There it is. But like Grand Theft Auto, right? You theoretically had a PS3 or a 360 and you would have played it already.
Sure.
So I'm really interested to see the numbers.
That game sold so well. It's just like, wow.
There's also the amount of people that are probably willing to double dip on a game like that. So, and I think it'll probably come with a bunch of stuff packed in that wasn't there when you first bought the original.
That's
one.
true.
So, we'll see. Yeah, but Far Cry is up there for me. Smash Brothers is a big one. I've been playing a ton of Smash Brothers on 3DS. We got our early builds of that.
How do you like it? We can talk about it now, right?
Yeah, no, I really like it. It's something I didn't think would translate to 3DS. I thought the 3DS would sort of be like watching a movie on a phone compared to watching a movie on a big screen. I thought it would be sort of an appetizer before the Wii U version, but no, this is a full-fledged, really awesome Smash Brothers game.
Are people playing in the office?
Yeah.
Okay, because when I got my copy, it was like that first wave, and then I went out of town, and then I came back, and then I went out of town again.
Yeah.
And like I played it that first weekend, I was like, Smash, yeah, and I opened it up, and the screen was too small. I'm playing on an original 3DS.
Oh, okay.
And like I tried to play online, and it was chugging, and then I didn't
really?
Smash Run, and I just put it down. I'm like, maybe if people are playing the office, I'll get back to it.
So I'm not wild about Smash Run, but I think that like I was jumping on a few multiplayer matches with Jose and with Mitch throughout the last 2 weeks, and it's all worked perfectly.
Ad hoc or online?
Just local.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like if we're doing like we did Mario Golf, where people are playing every morning, I can see me getting into it.
And the game comes out Friday, so I think you'll see sort of more of the common folk at IGN. Smash Brothers is big at IGN. It has been for years. So we'll see how well that translates to a handheld. I think for a lot of people, they probably are cautiously optimistic about it, and they're waiting for the Wii U version. But it's an interesting strategy. You know, it's kind of cool to see something like that happen. So
my holiday game coming up that I'm excited for is Lego Batman 3.
Yeah,
I like Lego games in general.
They're going to space.
Yeah, out in space, doing all these different things in space.
Space.
Adam West is in it.
Yeah.
Stephen Amell from Arrow.
Kevin Smith.
Kevin Smith is in it.
They announced this morning.
Yeah.
You're hosting a.
Don't spoil the show.
Okay, fine.
We have to talk about New York Comic Con coming up.
Got it.
But we'll get to this stuff first. Because, ladies and gentlemen, if you didn't know, in the first 20 minutes of this podcast, this is Podcast Beyond, IGN's PlayStation podcast, the #1 PlayStation podcast on the internet with a dash of Smash Brothers.
That's right.
Remember, we usually post the show every Tuesday as an MP3, every Wednesday as a video. We're a day delayed because I was in LA working yesterday. Now, let's begin the show with what is and forever will be the Roper Report. Time for some news.
There are.
I rolled the R's on that.
Baker's dozen.
That's yes, perfect.
I couldn't print it out. My printer just doesn't work anymore.
Really?
Mine wasn't working
my computer connectivity to the printer is just all messed up. I don't know.
Oh yeah, both of you guys were fired yesterday.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
First things first. Well, the printer.
The last episode of Podcast Beyond. Let's do it. #1. PlayStation Plus's free content for October has been revealed. If you're looking for PS4 games, you're in luck. Driveclub will be free upon its release, at least in a limited form, with 11 tracks and 10 cars. Dust and Elysian Tale, which was, I think, on Xbox 360, is coming to PS4, and that will also be free, as will Spelunky.
Really? Oh, Spelunky?
Goldfarb freaking out.
PS3 gamers will get free access to Batman Arkham Asylum.
Yeah.
Wow.
And Dungeons & Dragons Chronicles of Mystara, which I never got to play, but I wanted to. Mm-hmm. Vita players get Pix the Cat for free, which is also coming to PS4. And that game looks really, really cool. It's like a puzzle game, a black and white puzzle game that's styled like it's a 1920s cartoon.
That's awesome.
And Rainbow Moon, the Vita and PS3 RPG will also be free.
You love that game.
I do. I really do love that game. It's weird. It's weird why I love that game so much. It's just... well, we'll get to them later. The guys that are doing that studio are the guys that do that game. That studio are doing another game, which is coming to Vita.
Okay.
I'm very excited.
Rainbow Moon 2.
This one's for you, Greg. #2. Minecraft's release on PS Vita appears imminent. Porting studio 4J Games confirmed that Sony has the final build of their game in their hands for certification as of September 24th. So it could have passed cert already.
Oh, God, I don't know why we're not there yet.
Mojang notes that the Vita version is similar to the PS3 version, quotes, and, quote, includes all the features from the most recent PlayStation 3 version, including online play, end quote. Remember, if you already own it on PS3, you get it for free on Vita.
Which is awesome. I played it at Tokyo Game Show. I don't know if you saw my video, but I did a quick run around, started punching a bunch of animals.
Yeah.
I played the creator mode, so I saw how high I could fly, sort of check out the draw distance. It's not as great as PS4. It might be a little worse than PS3 in terms of draw distance, but as a guy who's played a lot of Minecraft on mobile devices, it's awesome to play that game with buttons.
Yeah.
Who would have thought?
Yeah, I was hoping that there was a chance for this Tuesday because obviously when they were like, we've submitted the PS4 version in Xbox One, they, flipped every switch in the world to get it out as soon as possible. Now, the fact they haven't scares me because it obviously got rejected last time around. They had to restart it now. Hopefully next week we'll see. Right now, we have a question from Eric Jones. He says, Beyond. Good day, Colin, Greg, and the ever-rotating third chair.
Hey.
With the recent news that Minecraft for Vita is almost complete, I was considering buying it. I've never played Minecraft before, but with my gaming taste now expanded with the release of smaller indie games, I am willing to try, even though it's only a few years old now. Does Minecraft have a steep learning curve for a newcomer? Can you complete a great... Nope, I don't know what he's trying to say there, so we won't even read that last line. Some people think they write a good sentence, and then it's just can you...
So what I love about Minecraft is that I feel like it brings you in very, very beautifully and kind of with great like a good level of charm and simplicity. It's daunting to sort of look at what people can do on YouTube when they build like a functioning USS Enterprise and like stuff like that. To me is mind-blowing. It's sort of like the difference between putting together like a cool Lego set that you buy at Toys R Us and like when you see somebody make an entire functional city out of Lego. Right. You're like, that's nuts. And Minecraft's it's really smart at sort of just being like, here's what you have to work with. It's very intuitive. Start it off. When you die, it's sort of like you figure out why that happened. You know, it sort of teaches you as it goes without being in your face with tutorials and stuff like that. And I think that's what the game's greatest appeal is that it brings you in, and it does so very well, and it never really feels like I'm playing an indie game. It just feels like I'm playing this really cool open world game, and I get to just do things at my own pace. Yeah,
I mean, you and I started, the Let's Play series here on IGN, which you should of course watch every Wednesday, even though I think we've missed 2 now.
Yeah,
we got to get on that sometime.
Yep.
If only there was more hours in the day. But if you go, you can watch them all here on IGN and, of course, youtube.com/MinecraftIGN. And we started from not knowing anything, right? It was finally on PS3. I was like, all right, let's play through it and see what's up. And we waded into it in a way that we learned our own, and then like when you get to parts where, because like right now in the console version, you go to like your crafting thing and you see like recipes, you see what you need, you understand. And even when I tried to do some PC stuff, 6 months ago, you jumped in and that's not even really there in some of it. So it's like, wow, this is already like the console's already dumbed down enough to make it like get in there, have some fun, play around, do what's up. And then when you get to a wall where you do think about like, well, how do I do this? How do I do that? You can Google, find a wiki, it's all there. Yeah, so I think it's a totally easy game to get into.
Yeah, and it's something you can. I mean, if you wanted to start a game, build a house, throw some lights on the wall, and live in it, like you could totally do that. And it's easy to do. Now, if you want your house to be like this immaculate glass tower with elevators and all sorts of contraptions, you can do that too. But like, you just want a dirt shanty to live in with a hole in the floor that brings you down to
That's how we did forever.
Cool mines. Yeah, you could totally do that. It's kind of choose your own adventure like that, and that's what I really appreciate about it.
Colin, you ever going to play Minecraft?
Yeah, when it comes to Vita.
Okay.
I think that's where it will make most sense for me.
Sure, yeah. I same thing as always, like on the train or waiting at the airport, I'm just like, God, I wish I had Minecraft right now.
Number 3. PS Vita's new firmware is about to go live and is probably already live by the time you hear this.
Oh my gosh.
This is a big one. Firmware update 3.30 was promised at the pre-TGS press conference and brings customization options long sought by Vita players, including the ability to change the look of the icons and the background music. Themes similar to PS3's themes will be available for Freedom Wars, Uncharted Golden Abyss, and Tearaway right off the bat. PS4's ability to be given or to see a given trophy's rarity will also be available on Vita once the update goes live, which is very cool.
The themes thing is really exciting for me, by the way, because I use my Vita all the time, and I'm still not wild about the bubble system.
But see, that's the whole thing: is the bubbles still exist.
Yeah.
This doesn't do away. Like when I read the announcement, like when I was reading Colin's, he stayed up late to do all the news for this. I woke up the next morning, I was reading it, and I immediately thought, oh, no way, they're going to give it the XMB of the PS3. And then I can hide everything and not get away from bubbles. And no, it's just like, there's now, you'll get the Freedom Wars thing. So there'll be a lock screen Freedom Wars thing, and then there'll be a background behind the bubbles. And it's like, well, god dang it, I could do that now with JPEGs.
Yeah, you could, I guess. I guess I sort of just like the way they're arranged a little bit better. It's just
they do move around.
Yeah. It's a little more custom, but you're totally right. It feels like the least of their family of platforms. It feels like the least consistent with everything else. And I do like the way I love the PS3 interface. I actually love the PS4 interface even more. But the Vita one feels like the weird stepchild of the bunch. So
as soon as they make a way to put all my PS4 games in under one thing, I think I'll like PS4 more.
Well,
now the fact that it's like we all have every downloaded game, just scroll forever to even get the library to download a new game.
Yeah, that's a weird thing. You turn on your PS4, you're like, what should I play? Wall of Squares. But the Vita's weird because I still, and probably will after this, have 2 folders called garbage and more garbage.
Oh, yeah.
Where I just put a bunch of junk I never use.
I call it PS crap.
Really?
Near all the junk you can't delete from your Vita maps. You're like, I don't want to.
But I have the same thing on my iPhone. It's like stocks and all this other shit that I never touch.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Fix it.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure eventually they'll let us delete Nier.
Baby steps.
No one uses Nier. Number 4. This one's interesting. This one was funny to me. Visceral Games, the studio behind Battlefield Hardline, has gone as far as to promise that its game will actually work once it's launched. I don't know if you guys saw this story. Visceral Games' Ian Millam told Game Revolution, quote, "What you're basically asking is your game going to work?" And the answer is yes, it's going to work. We already had one very successful beta. We're going to have another beta on every platform we ship on. We take shipping a working game pretty seriously. So yes, this game will work, end quote. The questions and skepticism come from DICE's botching of Battlefield 4, which was notoriously broken for many gamers at launch and continues to be broken for many gamers to this day. Indeed, a huge Battlefield 4 patch is on the near horizon as the game continues to be fixed nearly a year after it launched. So they show like what... That shows like the skepticism of releasing that was created by releasing Battlefield 4 in its state. Not that I ever played that game, but just hearing the cries of agony from people playing that game is like unbelievable to me.
A bad game is like a tramp stamp on a franchise.
Sure.
Like it's always there. It's hideous, and you see it every time you're trying to hit that. Like it's basically it's really hard to get around. I mean, I think Sega's dealing with it right now with Alien, and they're looking at Colonial Marines, and people are saying, well, what about this? What about that? You know, it's. The fact that you, in an interview, you have to be like, does your new game work? You wouldn't do that to any other developer, right? Because you wouldn't go up to Nintendo or Sony or imagine if you went to Naughty Dog, hey, does your new game work? Of course it does. That's a stupid question. Next question, please. But you have to ask that here because their last game didn't.
And what's so depressing is it's a different developer.
Yeah.
Right? That's the real thing about it. Like it's similar to, one Call of Duty doesn't work, like Sledgehammer's doesn't work, and then the next, what is it? Infinity Ward.
Then
they'd have to be like, yes, ours works. Sorry that theirs wouldn't.
Sorry.
Number 5.
Number 5.
The Evil Within has officially gone gold. The upcoming survival horror game from Shinji Mikami, the mastermind behind the old awesome Resident Evil games, is due to launch on October 14th, my birthday, in North America and Europe, October 16th in Australia and New Zealand, and October 23rd in Japan, where the game is known by the much better name Psycho Break.
Psycho Break!
So I brought this up just because I played it for the first time. I've been excited about this game because I love Mikami and I love old Resident Evil games. Like very much.
Yeah.
I wrote a piece about how I even loved like ink ribbons and stuff like that. Like I love everything about like how those games worked, except for maybe the tank controls. They don't add up anymore. But I played it. I went hands on with it for like maybe 10 or 15 minutes at TGS, and I liked it a lot. Yeah. Like I like what they're doing in this game. Now whether or not it pans out, I have no idea. Whether the game will be good or bad, I don't know. But I like what I said was like all the ingredients for a proper survival horror game are there.
Yeah.
We haven't had a proper survival horror game, a AAA survival horror game in a long time, and I said probably since Dead Space. The original one, which was awesome. And speaking of Visceral, I'm excited about it. Yeah. I'm very excited about it. It's a game, when I get back from Comic-Con, that game, I'm going to jump right into that game.
Interesting.
See what it's all about.
Yeah, when I saw it at PAX East on its debut, and I was like, this looks like garbage.
Yeah.
And so, like, we'll see. Hopefully it's turned around. It's good that you like it, or
yeah,
that's what you're looking for.
Colin got me excited for it. The people that have told me they liked it, they've said the same thing a lot, and they've said the magical words for me, which are Resident Evil 4. Like, it sort of feels like Resident Evil 4, and I'm like, that's a good sweet spot for me. So, but I'm with you. We don't get enough survival horror games. It's amazing that genre is criminally underrepresented on next gen platforms. You get some PC stuff here and there, but even Dead Space, as you mentioned, like has completely left the train station in terms of what that used to be.
Yeah, which is why I don't care about it anymore.
Yeah.
That was what was so disappointing when I played the original Dead Space, which I adore that game. I think that game's really, really good.
Yeah, it's great.
And I was so excited for Dead Space 2 because I was like, oh, good. Like,
yeah.
And then they just kind of slowly went off the deep end to the point where with Dead Space 3, I was like, I don't even care anymore. And Capcom did the same thing with Resident Evil. Like, Resident Evil 4 to Resident Evil 5 is a really big jump of nonsense.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that, 100%. It was heartbreaking for me to play 5. And a lot of people I talked to here were like, oh, it's good if you don't go in expecting a Resident Evil game. And I was like, well, don't put that on the box.
Yeah, don't call it Resident Evil 5.
And they just said in an interview recently with Mitch Dyer from IGN that the reason the Revelations franchise is sort of breaking off as their survival horror is that they have evolved the traditional Resident Evil franchise as their action line now. So Resident Evil 7 will undoubtedly be an action game, and Resident Evil Revelations 2 and 3 will move closer and closer back to 4 and 3 and 2 and 1, which was the ones that I really appreciate in that series. So we need more survival horror games because Dead Space ain't doing it. and Resident Evil ain't doing it.
No, it's a shame.
Somebody's got to do it.
Resident Evil 5 really stung me because it was just like, what are you guys doing? You know, like I was like, it's a fine game, but like, why is this a Resident Evil game? So I was so disappointed in that
I wish
game.
you could have seen my face playing that game because it was like, I was like my jaw was dropped, and not in a wow, this is stunning, but in a oh my god, what are you doing to this thing I loved. It was like a bad cover song.
You kill more people in the first like half an hour of Resident Evil 5 than you kill in like the entire Resident Evil 4.
Yeah.
Like you just like kill everyone. It's just like when you're going through that village, I'm like, how many zombies are there? Like they don't build. There's no tension.
No,
you know? Like,
no, never.
And that was what Dead Space did so well. I mean, I could write a friggin' essay on how Dead Space did survival horror so well. Like probably the greatest survival horror game with the exception of Resident Evil 4.
Yeah.
And Remake I thought was really good on GameCube.
Yeah, Remake was great.
And now they're remaking Remake, which is cool.
What are they going to call that?
Remake.
Remake. I'm excited for that, by the way.
Me
I know
too.
we're on the Resident Evil franchise right now, but
not the Mikami games. The Mikami games are great.
Yeah, exactly.
And I even like Resident Evil 0. I know that's not a very popular thing, and I remember when I got Resident Evil 0 on
a lot of
GameCube.
people liked Resident Evil 0.
Like I remember I was so obsessed with doing it perfectly, I would restart the game like over and over again. I get like halfway through and then I'd be like, I used too many bullets, and I go back. But no games make you do that anymore because there's no scarcity. That was what I loved about the ink ribbon. And everyone's like, no, like you should have player choice. Like, no, you can't save whenever you want.
Yeah.
You can save 7 times or whatever, you know? From beginning to end, so figure it out. That was like what was so fun about it.
Yeah.
You know? And we've lost the spirit of survival horror. So I think that, you know, whether this game turns out or not, it's just like I played a part where you just walk up to this mansion. It's awesome. Looks great. And then you just walk into it and you have no idea what the hell you're supposed to do. Mm-hmm. There's just a room here and a staircase here and you can go into the basement, and I'm like, yes. Yeah. Yes, I have no idea what the hell is going on in this place. You know, like Outlast actually gave me that feeling too of foreboding, but it's not a AAA survival horror game. It's you don't fight in it. It's different.
I feel like Outlast was sort of like let's go down a list of contextual horror movie tropes, which was like, here are the twins and here's the crickety wheelchair that rolls down the hall and here's the murder man with the eye and all that stuff like that. You're like, okay, that's cool, but this just feels sort of like it feels like a movie I'd watch on Stars.
No, I understand. And plus that game fell off the world's biggest cliff.
Yes.
At the end.
Yes.
I was just like, what? This I loved it, and then I was like, oh god, I wish I had stopped playing it halfway through. Number 6. This is an interesting one, too. In the late 90s, Insomniac Games created Spyro the Dragon, but it's been nearly 15 years since the studio worked on any Spyro games. In a conversation with IGN, Insomniac founder Ted Price said that he hasn't written off going back to the Spyro one day, although the studio doesn't own the license, Activision does. Spyro games are also in progress in the form of Skylanders. He said, quote, Activision's done a great job with Spyro. They resurrected him, and in my opinion, Skylanders is still about Spyro. It's got the same aesthetic, the same broad appeal, and they've done a great job of bringing that character and his world to a brand new set of fans. That's very hard to do in an age where a lot of games are darker and grittier. We'll always love Spyro. I've learned to never say never, so who knows? I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think Insomniac is built to make a game like that anymore. The guys that are built to make that game make Ratchet. Yeah. And they're working on Ratchet, so I wouldn't count on it. And also, this was the same conversation we had when PlayStation All-Stars came out. Like, Insomniac doesn't own Spyro. So, like, they can't just be like, yeah, let's make a Spyro game. You know, like that's not up to them.
You're going to have a very tough time convincing anyone at Activision to make a Spyro game that doesn't come with hundreds of dollars worth of purchasable plastic figurines.
That was the interesting thing about his quote, that it's still about Spyro. I don't think it is. It's about toys. It's about interchangeable toys and cool things. I never hear, you know, when you talk to a kid about Skylanders, they never say their favorite Skylander, Spyro.
Spyro, no. Yeah.
It's the pirate.
Yar. Number 7. It's the final one. This is when we go over all the things that were announced. I'm excited about this one. Soldier X2, the niche but awesome PS3 space shooter, is officially coming to Vita. I think it's going to be awesome there. Soldier X2 is a great game. And that was what I was referring to. The guys that made Soldier X and Soldier X2 made Rainbow Moon. Thomas Was Alone, which is already on PS3 and Vita, is also coming to PS4 in November. Skullgirls Encore, the hardcore fighting game, has been delayed for release on PS4 and Vita until 2015. The quirky arcade game Whoa Dave has been announced for PS4 and Vita and will launch soon. I played that game. Sony came in with 5 games on Vita for me to play that are coming up, including Hotline Miami 2, which I cannot wait for. And we moved on because I was talking only about AAA games, but that is my most anticipated game this year.
Oh yeah, that looks awesome.
And Whoa Day was one of those games, and it's just a very strange kind of cool game. It reminds me of like, it's a static screen like Mario Brothers, the original Mario Brothers arcade game, but you throw things at enemies like Mario 2.
That sounds great.
It's just very strange. I don't know if it'll have any more appeal than like me playing it for one day.
What's the problem with Dave?
I don't know. We'll find out. The aliens are coming. I think it's basically like alien eggs drop and then they hatch and you have to kill them all. as they hatch and stuff.
Sounds great.
So you should check out that piece on the 5 other games. So it's
why do you think something's wrong with Dave?
Well, they're like, whoa, Dave. Like, they're surprised that he's there.
I thought it was like, whoa, Dave. Whoa, Dave.
Oh, like he's doing some really
tricks.
cool.
Yeah.
Okay, well, then, I mean...
It's on
is there an exclamation point?
Yeah, at the end of Dave.
If there's enemies in the game,
Whoa,
it means
Dave.
somebody has a problem with Dave, right?
Yeah, you're right.
Somebody's got a problem with Dave. It's
Sure,
not just,
sure.
it's not like Dave standing there being like, aren't I great? And you press A and it says, yeah.
Well, I mean, what's Mario's problem? Why has everybody got a problem with Mario?
But they're trying to steal his girlfriend and do things to her. I don't know what Bowser wants with her.
That's a good question. What does Bowser want with her?
I think
doesn't he want to marry her or something?
He just needs a woman's touch in his.
He's got all these
home.
goddamn kids floating around. Somebody's got to keep him in line.
Well, I don't think they're his children. It's kind of like Bebe's kids, but with dinosaurs.
Regardless, he needs a partner to help him keep these children in line. You can't be a single parent to 9 turtles or whatever the hell they are.
You can't. That's
Koopas.
a hard life.
Yeah, I never really thought about that. I always thought he wanted to marry her. He was in love with her or something like that.
Yeah. Well,
but he's never nice to her. He's never like.
He doesn't know how to treat.
But
her.
he's never like. You want to kiss or anything like that.
No,
it's never like I got you a ring or anything. It's just like, hey, you're here now. I didn't think about what's
next.
we're supposed to do next.
Yeah, I was so focused on just.
I just hate that guy.
I just hate that Italian so much. I steal everything he loves.
But yeah, if you want to see more about the Vita games I played, Whoa Dave is one of them. Hotline Miami 2 is one of them. Fly Hunter Origins is one, which is in bad shape. What were the other 2?
Thomas Was Alone. I couldn't get into that game.
I liked it.
Thomas,
really?
yeah, I didn't play it much.
I didn't
either.
beat it, but
that's
I
not
had
on that
fun with
piece
it.
though. Nidhogg is one of them coming to Vita.
Yep.
How's Nidhogg looking?
Good. It's cool. You can play it on the same Vita.
Oh, nice.
Like 2 people.
Really?
Yeah. And there's one more. I can't remember what it is.
Whatever. You'll figure
Action
it out.
RPG Moonhunters has been announced for PS4 and Vita and will launch in late 2015. The game was kind of cool. Colorful 2.5D platformer Shu is headed to PS4, PS3, and Vita.
Have they announced anything about a Shuhei Yoshida skin?
I don't know, but I hope so. I remember when that came out and people made awesome like GIFs.
Well, remember, we made the video.
Oh, okay, yeah, we did that.
That video will
People
now be
didn't make it, we made
inserted in this article. So go to the article on IGN. Look at the Shu vid.
Oh, that's right. That was awesome.
What if Shuhei Yoshida was in Shu?
That's
one of my favorite things.
That was so good.
I was like, guys, you have to do this. It has a chance at going viral. Nobody.
Shout out to Shuhei Yoshida, by the way. We spent some time with him in Japan when we were there for TGS. What a wonderful man. Very cool
he's a very
guy.
nice man.
Yeah.
What a nice man.
Skating game sequel Ali Ali 2, Welcome to Hollywood, will come to PS4 and Vita in 2015. Ali Ali is apparently really, really popular. And Sony is helping bring that to PS4 and Vita first, I think. And old school JRPG Pierce Solar, which just came to PS4 and PS3 this week, is coming to Vita soon as well. Now, and they confirmed that to me on Twitter because I was complaining about how I can't play it on Vita. That game looks awesome. And if you don't know anything about Pierce Solar, it was a Sega Genesis JRPG that was made in 2010. And it's made within the technological confines and limitations of the time. So like think Phantasy Star 3 or 4 or something like that. It looks so good. I can't wait to play that game. It's supposed to be a full meaty 40-hour JRPG.
Nice.
And with all sprites and I think it looks really cool. So
That's awesome.
definitely that's on PS4, PS3 this week. But definitely check out the trailers and stuff because I think that game looks so cool. The guys that made it are Watermelon Games, I think they're called. And they're bringing it to everything. They even brought it to Dreamcast, which is weird.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. That old chestnut.
As usual, Colin, you missed something for the Roper Report. This one comes from Derek in Idaho. Greg, Colin, the ever-rotating third chair, Beyond.
Beyond.
Gentlemen, I am a new dad trying to balance my family and my video game
how would
time.
I know that?
My daughter, Chloe, will be a year old soon. For the childless, that's the time they start learning to talk. Because I think it would be a great story, I have been trying to get my child's first word to be Beyond.
Oh, man.
Practice started weeks ago. We would sit on the floor and I would repeat, like an idiot, mind you, Beyond, over and over. Beyond. Beyond. He goes on like that for a while. For weeks. Finally, after crushing mode difficulty, she looked me in the eye and said, Dad, if I wanted to know what games were coming out this week, where would I go?
You're asking me?
Yeah.
The Andrew Goldfarb memorial list of upcoming PlayStation software on all 3 platforms by the IGN.
That was great.
Derek knows.
So there are a lot of games this week.
Woo!
So there's
It's raining games.
There's a lot. There's
Hallelujah! It's raining games!
Damn, you put some soul into that, bro.
That was really good, right?
You put
Yeah.
some heart into that.
I know, it was almost like it was like 3/4 of the way into the song. Greg always brings the
Absolutely so.
the beauty
I've
out
never
of
seen
it.
you really get really. I've known you for a long time. I've never seen you really.
There's just
be
Colin,
exuberant.
there's just so many games.
I know there are. You ready? Shadow of Mordor is available on PS4,
Which
retail
everyone
and
loves.
digitally.
Yeah.
I haven't had the chance to play it yet.
Yep.
Chariot is available digitally on PS4. This is all PS4. Futuridium EP Deluxe is available digitally. Natural Doctrine, the strategy RPG, is available digitally and at retail.
Are these real game names you're saying?
Pure Solar and the Great Architects, the game we were just talking about, is available digitally. Second Chance Heroes, which looks kind of cool, is available digitally. Crimes and Punishments, Sherlock Holmes' game, is available digitally and at retail. And Warriors Orochi 3 Ultimate is available at digitally. I don't know if it's at retail as well. PS3, Natural Doctrine is available digitally and at retail. Persona 4 Arena Ultimax, which Vince really loved, the fighting game, is available digitally and at retail. Pure Solar and the Great Architects is available digitally and at retail. Sherlock Holmes Crimes and Punishment is available at retail and digitally. Short Piece Ranko movie.
Buying it.
It's actually that game's actually supposed to be really good. It's I think like a side-scrolling action game.
Short Piece Ranko movie.
Yeah, that's not the full name either. I don't know like what it's like a total Japanese name.
Shocking.
But Vince played it a while ago and he loved it. It's available digitally. Falling Skies, the game, is available on PS3.
On the Noah Wiley show?
No way.
Yeah.
Really?
Is he in it?
Looks like it.
How did we miss this chance?
Did you stop watching? You stopped watching that show, right?
Yeah. It was too much.
I got about halfway through the second season. I thought the first season was interesting.
I thought the first season was good too. I love the intro to this show too, when the kids are drawing the pictures and like explaining what happened. I love that. The Invisibles, The Lost Kingdom, is available on PS3. Alwar Arcade Bundle and Warriors Orochi 3 are also available on PS3. Vita, Invisibles, The Alliance, different game. It's available. Futuridium EP Deluxe is available digitally. Natural Doctrine is available digitally and at retail, and Warriors Orochi 3 Ultimate is available digitally and at retail. PS1 Classics.
Here we go.
Namco Museum Volume 1, Namco Museum Volume 2, Namco Museum Volume 3, Namco Museum Volume 4, Namco Museum Volume 5. PS2
all
Classics.
At once?
Yeah. Wow, you called. I killed you. You're killing Brian.
How many museums are there?
And PS2 Classics, The Incredibles, are available. Pre-orders. Alien Isolation for PS3 and PS4. Borderlands pre-sequel for PS3. And that's it. That's probably more games than ever.
I guess I forgot Alien was coming to PS3. Huh.
Maybe it's not. Let me double check.
No Suikoden, no Minecraft Vita.
No.
Bunch of BS.
Nothing. But there are 5 Namco
Nope, it is
arcades.
coming to PS3 and PS1.
Wow, interesting.
Mitchell Morgan writes into Beyond at ign.com just like you can and says, "Hey guys.
Hello.
Hi.
This year, a few other IGN fans and I set up an Extra Life team for the IGN community. If you don't know, Extra Life is a gaming charity marathon that supports the Children's Miracle Network. All you have to do is send emails to your friends, family, etc., maybe use Twitter or Facebook, asking for donations. Then, on Saturday, October 25th, you'll play video games from the comfort of your home for 24 hours straight. All the money you raise during that time will go to a children's hospital of your choice. Anyone can join Team IGN by visiting extra-life.org/team/IGN. Wanted to throw that out there.
Do that.
Not
go support
so
them.
much. We did it a couple years ago.
Yeah, what was a long time ago now? It was probably 2010.
That was the infamous one where you and I streamed Uncharted 2 multiplayer, and it was so hot in there, I took off my shirt and clipped it to my chest hair, and then Long Dong Silver
joined. Yeah, that's what we met Long Dong Silver.
Yeah. Those were the
Our
days.
good friend Long Dong Silver. That's also when I played Mark Ryan Silly in 100 straight matches of Marvel vs. Capcom 2.
How many did you
And
win?
he beat me. The deal was that he would actually quit his job, and they would hire me as his job, and then I would hire him back underneath me if I ever beat him in a game.
Did you ever beat him?
No.
He beat you 100 straight times?
And eventually I was able to start picking his team and stuff like that. Yeah, and he still...
You were giving him like all the stupid robot characters.
Yeah, I was giving him like Serve Bot and Roll.
And he was still whipping your ass?
Yeah.
Man.
He's really good.
I got close a couple times.
That doesn't mean anything.
That game's hard if you don't know like how to play it, like a real person plays it.
Yeah.
You know?
So Extra Life's good. Everyone should do it if you have the time. We're all scattered to the winds. Speaking of which, why I need your help and why I'm not doing it is I'll be in Columbia, Missouri on Saturday, October 25th, celebrating Mizzou Homecoming. However, if any of the listeners know of an Extra Life event, someone streaming in Columbia, Missouri, I would love to come be on your stream. So hit me up at beyond.ign.com.
Why don't you just enjoy the game?
Are you gonna
Go to a man's house.
The game isn't all day long. I'll tailgate, I'll party, I'll show up hungover.
Sleep late, have a nice brunch, enjoy the game, go home,
why
relax.
can't you just have a dinner?
Just have a day to yourself.
I want to be a part of the community. I want to help Extra Life. Beyond.ign.com.
I'm surprised you're having a tailgate party.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I did that one time. I went
Come help Greg shower in the morning. It's been 5 minutes since I've seen anyone, so come help me out.
There will be a Columbia meet and greet at CJ's Hot Wings at some point in the week.
Jesus
because I'm going to be there
Christ.
all week long. So
You know what? Just be anonymous for a little while.
No, it's their chance to say hello. It's my chance to give back, Colin. Don't mock me for wanting to give back.
You know who I want around me when I eat wings? Nobody.
Yeah.
I just want to eat them in shame.
Don't judge.
I just want a bunch of wet naps, and I want to go take a shower afterwards. That's it.
Well, Colin,
Well, you already said they can help him take a shower.
They can help him. They can wash his face.
I actually do want somebody to wash my face. I mean, that's a great video right there. Well, if we're going to keep on this battering train of Greg Miller trying to meet people, let's talk about next week, Colin. Andrew from New Jersey writes in and says, Beyond. Hello, Greg, Colin, and the oh-so-rotating third chair. In 8 days, Comic-Con will be upon us, and I will be attending to see the Podcast Beyond panel at New York Comic-Con. I was wondering if, after the con, there would be an IGN meetup, preferably somewhere people under 21 can go. I would like to know so I can tell my brother I will be ditching him afterwards. Thanks for everything. Super excited to meet you, Beyond.
So what we're going to do is Greg's going to be at a hotel. He's going to get up and have breakfast. You come to the hotel at 8:30 in the morning before the show, and he'll be there. Eggs and bacon with you.
Exactly.
If we could figure out how to do
Greg's
that,
body is basically a non-stop, never-ending meet and greet.
It's a beacon.
If you want to be part of Greg's dreams, find his hotel, come to his hotel room, whisper in his ear as he sleeps, be like, get the ball, and he'll start fetching it.
That's a good one. Yeah. I should do that for Tello. No, there's a whole bunch of stuff for you to come see and be a part of IGN and whatnot. On Friday the 10th, there's a next-gen panel. It's basically PS4, Xbox One 1 year later. We'll be doing a panel there. That's at 4 o'clock. On Saturday the 11th, I'll be hosting a Lego Batman 3 panel at noon. Why this one matters, and you should come to it, is Troy Baker's on it, Kevin Smith is on it, Stephen Amell from Arrow is on it. So a whole bunch of actual famous people to
I'll be
talk
there
to.
covering it.
You will be?
Yeah.
Oh, I can tell you everything that's going to happen.
Okay, great.
You can just rewrite the story.
Excellent. Thanks, I won't be there.
Directly after Lego Batman 3 at 1:15 is the Podcast Beyond panel. You can come see us record a live episode of Podcast Beyond. Then that night is the meet and greet. Look for details soon. I'm going to put an article up on IGN, but obviously I'll be tweeting about it as well. Then on Sunday, there's a Walking Dead The Game panel at 12:15 I'm hosting. It's me, Robert Kirkman, Clementine, Kenny, some of the Telltale people.
Oh, so it's the Telltale Walking Dead The Game.
Right.
Got it.
Not
Awesome.
Starbreeze, and it's not the AMC one.
Yes.
Nobody's going to talk about that.
I finally finished season 2, by the way.
What'd you think?
On a plane.
Spoiler free. Oh, you
to
playing on the
Japan.
Vita?
Yeah, I was playing on the Vita.
Yeah.
Man, that's heartbreaking.
Yeah, but you liked it.
I loved it.
enjoyed
No,
the
I
game.
loved it. Yeah,
Okay, great.
give me even the weakest episodes of that game are still better than most TV shows I watch.
Sure.
So,
all right, so there you go. New York Comic Con. There'll be more up soon. Colin will tweet about it, I'm sure. I'll make them.
On that Sunday, I'll be at the Meadowlands watching.
No, you're not. No, you're not going. We're not
New
going to
York
the
Jets.
Meadowlands. We're not doing that.
I'm going.
We're going to go to the bar with Ramon. Hang out with him. Watch it there.
By the way, I have dinner plans that night. So after the game, you're going to be hanging out with Ramon alone.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah.
As long as he's not
You guys
going
can
to
have a
the
meet
dinner
and greet
plans,
in Jersey City.
It's fine. Sounds good to me. If you want to come to Ramon's apartment with me, let me know.
Greg Miller meet and greet in Jersey City that night.
All right, we're
Be outside of Union Park. There's
Believe
an
it or
outhouse
not,
there. He's going to take a dump.
Y'all been badgering me so long, the show's over. So we should get one final question in. Okay. So Brian, as the ever-rotating third,
Sure.
You can have PlayStation Now, quick-fire questions, demos on the PlayStation Network, or Spider-Man.
I like quickfire.
All right, here we go. This one comes from Curtis in Denver, Colorado, where there's now Apache's Pizza. Curtis
Where?
says, Denver, Colorado.
Oh, okay.
Greetings, Greg, Colin, and the ever-rotating third chair. Beyond.
Beyond.
Third chair.
Hey.
Define the elements of a Western RPG.
Oh, man. Cowboy hats, guns. No. Western RPG.
6 shooters there. Yeah.
I feel like, man, this is a really tough question.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Define a Western RPG. It's more Americanized. I feel like the characters are more lovable, and there's less Japanese.
When I think Western RPG, I think Fallout, right? So I think open world.
Yeah.
I think, like choose your own adventure kind of thing. Go wherever, do whatever. Not random battles. You're gonna
VATS.
Yeah, VATS. You're gonna find somebody to fight. Colin, how am I doing? This isn't like sim racing.
Non-linearity, I think, is a big part.
Yeah,
of
I feel like
Western
it's a
RPGs.
lot like eating dinner in fancy California restaurants where they don't have a defined identity, but they do take cues and ideas from places all around the world.
Okay, that's good. You agree with that?
Yeah, that's a very interesting question.
Yeah.
I would say like statistical based, but not super deep. In that regard, like think about Final Fantasy 6 or 4. It's like there's just a million stats, but that's also Fallout kind of throws that to the wind. So I mean, there's no defined thing. I think it's a Western RPG when you see it.
Also, it was developed in the West.
Yes,
That's the easiest way.
Well, maybe not. I mean, that's tough.
I should have said that. You know what? It was the tip of my tongue. An RPG developed in the West. Drop the mic. Get the hell out.
But what is it like? What does that mean, really, though, too? Because like Child of Light is a JRPG. developed in Montreal.
Interesting.
It's not a JRPG literally, but it's definitely. If I told you that game was made in Tokyo, you would believe it.
It's Montreal RPG.
Yeah, MRPG.
Greg, what is your least favorite game genre? Fighting, probably. I never really ever crave fighting games. Well, does Smash count as a fighter?
Yeah, I count it as a fighter.
Well, I guess there's an exception to every rule.
It's not counted as a fighter by like hardcore fighting fans, though, right?
I don't care about those people.
Well, I didn't know this. I was talking to Vince about it. Like, that's a game that's like really ostracized, I think, by a lot of fighting game fans. Yeah.
All right, cool.
Those guys are wrong.
So I would say that because it would either be fighting or it would be like racing. But like I'm excited for The Crew. That's a driving game. I guess but there's a lot of racing in it.
And you're excited about Driveclub.
Can't wait for that Driveclub because I love simulation racers. There's nothing better than putting the pistons in my tires.
Yeah,
Colin,
gotta do it.
In a September 2012 episode of Beyond, you said you were disappointed that Square Enix no longer made games for you. Is that still the case? Has your opinion of Square Enix improved in light of games like Bravely Default?
Yeah, I was going to say Bravely Default is probably the only game they've released that speaks to old school RPG fans. I couldn't think of any others since that time. No, I don't think they've really improved. I think that like Final Fantasy 15 I think looks pretty corny. And Final Fantasy Type 0 should have been on Vita. So like they're getting there. Like they're doing things that are a little bit better, but
still not perfect.
No, I don't think they can. I honestly don't think they can be what I want them to be anymore. I just don't think it makes any sense. But like financially, but I think they were surprised by Bravely Default's success. They admitted as much, and that's why the sequel's coming out. So I'm just confused why they don't do like Final Fantasy Tactics and all this stuff. Like they don't speak to me very much.
Bravely Default feels like the Final Fantasies I thought we would be getting all the time based on the Final Fantasies I played on the Super Nintendo growing up. You know, like it's the alternate dimension where we didn't get all the weird 3D ones and all the strange places the Final Fantasy franchise has gone. Bravely Default brings it back to Final Fantasy IV or Japan and stuff like that. So yeah.
All right, time for my new favorite segment, the worst PlayStation Network name of the week. This one comes from Jordan in Portland, Oregon. He says, "Heyo, Greg, Colin, and the ever-rotating third chair, Beyond. Like many, I've had the same PlayStation ID since first purchasing the PS3. And like many, it was an afterthought next to owning such a great piece of gaming hardware. So when it came for me to choose, I thought I'd go with something clever, ironic. I wanted to make people smile. I wanted to be hemophobe. Since most online games are fairly violent, I thought it'd be a fun commentary to be playing under the idea of someone who is afraid of blood, a phobia I don't actually have. But to my surprise, too late, I discovered that my name was often mistaken for another with a completely different meaning. It's possible that most people read PSN tags at a glance, or that mine is too difficult to discern as otherwise. Either way, I'm usually identified as homophobe."
Jesus Christ!
I don't know.
I'm surprised they haven't forced him to change his name.
Hemophobe is a word?
That is, but I mean, I'm just surprised.
It's just a word a lot of people don't know compared to the word homophobe, which everybody knows.
Yes.
I don't know anyone, actually homophobic or not, who would self-identify as such, but I'm now stuck with a name that is too easily mistakable for something I don't consider myself to be. Seriously, all I want to do is capitalize the first two letters of my name. Hemophobe.
I don't even think that gets the message across.
I think you should probably change your name.
How about changing
that he's committed. Here, Shuhei Yoshida, here is between $20 and $60 to change my name. He goes in, hemophobe.
That's like
what's his real name?
Jordan.
Jordan from how about like
Portland Jordan?
Perfect. Nailed it.
Port
you know
Jordan.
what? Because I never get that name confused with someone that hates gays.
Ladies and gentlemen.
By the way, just real quick before you even wrap it up, not too fast.
I thought you were done. There was a break there.
It was a symbolic flicking of the pen. The show's over.
Yeah, the symbolic flicking of the pen. I wrote a piece last week saying Sony need to let us change our PSN names.
Right.
This is ridiculous. It's totally absurd that we can't change our PSN names. I don't believe that any of the engineering feats that wouldn't be necessary to do so can't be overcome in the last 9 years, and all those things. 150,000 people read that piece on IGN. That piece was spread all over the place, and the comments I got on Twitter and even on Facebook, and obviously the comments in the piece were all overwhelming. There are so many people that want to change their PSN names. It's like not even funny. How many people like how many millions of dollars Sony is just leaving on the table by not allowing people to do this is mind-boggling. Just charge you $20. That's it. So I just want to let people know that I wrote that piece and that it was a resounding success with people that do not listen to Podcast Beyond.
PSN names are the tramp stamp tattoos of your Forget it.
Ladies and gentlemen,
we
gotta go. We have a lunch.
People were saying real quick that it's like getting a tattoo, and then people were saying, but you could get it removed.
That's good. That's actually really good.
Okay, Greg, you can go now.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's been Podcast Beyond, episode 362. Thank you so much for joining us. Remember, Podcast Beyond is IGN's PlayStation podcast, the #1 PlayStation podcast on the internet. We post it as an MP3 every Tuesday, as a video every Wednesday, except for this week when I was late. Too bad. Suck it. Remember, IGN.com keeps the lights on. So come to IGN.com, watch the videos, read the articles, go be a Prime member, go to the t-shirt shop and get your favorite t-shirt, then eat ice cream all day long.
Get your Shaver Chaser shirts.
Did you say
Shaver Chasers?
Gotta get those.
Follow us all on Twitter. IGN is IGN. I'm Game Over Greggy. Colin is No Taxation. Brian is Agent Bizzle.
Damn right.
Every Podcast Beyond ends in a song we call Ryan's Wrap-Up. It's where you submit a song. It comes from an old thing where I used to sing a song at the end of the show, of course. Brian, sing me a song to end this show.
What was the song we were singing before?
It's Raining Men.
It's a raining man. Yeah. Hallelujah, it's a raining man. I don't actually know the rest of that song.
I'm gonna go out.
Getting man, then there's man on the street. I'm getting man umbrellas just to stop all the men. There's men on the floor, because when it rains, there's men everywhere. How do I clean up the men from the... I think that's how...
You clean up with a sock.
That's how you clean up tiny men. Beyond.
Users lose all sense of reality and enter another world. Remember, do not underestimate the power of PlayStation.